But you wouldn't hire those concrete men again.
No, fuck those guys. No. And fuck them for making me feel bad.
Oh, Pablo, how are you today? Good day at work? It's like, I'm never been more thankful to not fully understand the language.
All right. This is sort of an am I the asshole type thing here. And I'm doing it on PKN because I'm a little concerned I might be the asshole. So let me lay out how my day started. It started off great. I went paramotoring, did something that I don't usually do, and then I flew to this restaurant, met a friend who also flew there. Like, we flew together. We ate breakfast and we flew back. It's kind of neat to have like a little paramotor adventure. As I'm landing, the concrete people are there. I did not realize they were coming. Jackie didn't know they were coming, although she got an email. It's just not the best way to communicate with her. It's mixed in with all her spam.
Yeah, email is not how you notify concrete delivery.
So that was her only notification. She got an email saying the concrete people would be there, and here's their job. First, when you put a pool in, at least our kind of pool, you put the dirt around it, and then it settles, and there's holes around the pool. So then they put the dirt in again, and then they were going to lay concrete forms, get it inspected, and then have like concrete itself. So I get there, and the road in front of my house, which I should note is my road. When it's broken, I have to repair it, and I own that road. I own the land. It's not like a public street. It's my road. You think of it as part of my driveway. It's damaged. They came in there with their trailer, and they like gouged the fuck out of it. It's in our contract that they are not allowed to use that driveway. They are allowed to use the gravel driveway on the side of their house. And but I guess no one told them or something. So they fucked our road. And then they go and they start unloading their heavy equipment on our driveway. They're supposed to do this on the gravel. It's all worked out. It's in the contract. And it's a skid steer. And they're just like dragging the skid steer, gouging the driveway itself. I'm sorry?
What is a skid steer?
It's I'm sure you've seen it. It's like a short little thing for land. It has a bucket in the front that they pick it up, and you could Google it, but it's
might call it a bobcat.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Bobcat makes. There's lots of people that make skid steers, but thanks, Kyle. So anyway, they unload their skid steer on our driveway on the asphalt, and they like gouge it and scrape it the fuck up. And what's interesting to me is like the scrapes are like, not that it's a big deal. Our driveway needs repair, you know. So the fact that they scraped it
does now,
but. It's not that it has scrapes on it. It's the fact that the scrapes are like 12, 16 feet long. Like, how much of a not fuck did you give when you did like a 16-foot long scrape across my driveway?
Yeah,
it's not.
You know, they didn't like only hear it at the end.
Yeah, yeah, right. So that's like my introduction to these guys, and I go around back, and I'm real cool. I'm like, hey, is there anything you need? Any questions you have? You know, I'm gonna go shower up. You know, if you need anything, you know, let me know. They're like, nope, everything's going great. I go inside and the internet's been out, right? There's a fiber optic line across. We have marked it with flags and painted this line fluorescent orange so that no one would like accidentally yank it or not know. And it is yanked the fuck out of the wall. And the box that it goes into is also like dangling from the wall. And so I'm fuming mad, and here's the am I the asshole. I'm like, you guys yanked this out of the fucking wall? You can't pull this fucking wire. So in my head, my whole world is collapsing, right? Like, I've got this show to do tonight, which is important to me, right? This is a big deal. I've got my mother-in-law's in the other room. She's just in that room, like recovering from chemotherapy, fighting cancer, watching TV on Netflix all day long. That's what she does. So now she's in there in like a little prison. Well, now the internet's back. And then you have, you know, my wife and daughter who use it like normal people. And my son, although he is sometimes like, he's autistic, right? So sometimes he doesn't respond to situations like this really well. And I'll just like, I'm so mad that, like, in my head, these fucking monkeys grabbed the cords by their hands and yanked it out of the wall. Now, they might have snagged it with equipment and not noticed the bright orange flags or the fluorescent orange paint on the wire, but more likely, they gave no fucks, as evidenced by the driveway.
Is it possible that at this time, they are very aware of the fluorescent paint and the flags?
I would guess, yeah, that at this point, I might have brought it up, that it was painted fluorescent orange and that we marked it with flags.
Was there a lot of gesturing?
and holding a wire. There's a black wire with like little sprigs of things. Right? And I'm like, what the, like lots of hand motions. I turned Italian in this thing. And I'm like, the fuck? You can't do, right? And I'm on the phone with AT&T and the guy's looking at me through the window and I give him like one of the, like how the fuck? So the concrete guys packed up their shit and left, right? One of the guys was younger. I'm going to call him like 21 or something. And apparently he was in tears from my tirade. Right? Jackie saw him and said little
What
Julio.
did that girl man cry today?
She said that.
Who relayed to you that this gentleman was crying?
So you have the concrete people. They are subcontractors for the pool people. There's the pool guy, Josh, who is very good. You know, he's always on top of everything. And he helped us like figure out where the concrete should go. He has an eye for design and stuff like that. We like Josh, but Josh was not on site, and that would have helped a lot. Also, the concrete guys have like a foreman, and he was not on site either. Both of them were like, they arrived 30, 40 minutes after the laborers did, who had fucked up at least 3 things in 30 or 40 minutes. And so a little ding on anyone in charge to let these...
I'm a big like whenever I hear them do these things, like it makes me so mad that like my immediate mindset is like, well, they should probably be communicating through my lawyer at this point, and they're going to meet that contract 100%, or we will be in court. That driveway is going to be fucking fixed. I don't care if I have to take pictures and show them in court and document
Pictures
and point
have been
at them
taken.
that driveway is
Yeah.
going to be fixed.
So
Like, the way you were leading into it, like, because anytime someone has like an "Am I the asshole?" story, and they're like, "Well, I think I might kind of be the asshole here," I was like, "Oh, I'm like 85% sure Woody's going to be the asshole here." And the more you've said, the more I do not think you're the asshole. Like this was, if I'm understanding correctly, this was elucidated in the contract. It was described as you will take this road, not this, not our concrete, pathway, not our driveway.
Right.
Like that's inexcusable. Like that was the one thing they were supposed to do, right? Is, hey, when you pull in, just come this way, right?
Uh-huh.
And they must have been like, oh, I can't be bothered to look at line 1. If you had asked them for only brown M&Ms, you would not have gotten that.
No.
They would have brought fucking Skittles.
So I mean, I did curse at the people. I did curse, and they're like, "Oh, they're not accustomed to talking." Really? These fuckers aren't accustomed to being talked to at all. They don't speak English. One guy on site actually spoke English, and that was Baby Julio. And
It looks a little nice for the driveway.
So you're telling me that the only man in the crowd, who could actually understand what you were saying was brought to tears?
the thing is, that's a lie, because like he was standing in the driveway when she took Colin to parkour camp. So she came back and she's like, he wouldn't even move out of the way. She's like, I don't know what I was supposed to do, drive on my grass. And she's like, he wasn't welling up with tears. There was no, like, he wasn't upset. He was being a dick
Hadn't
still.
sunk in yet.
Yeah.
It hadn't sunk in yet. It was
And
like PTSD.
So
There
then
was a
they
delayed
backed
effect.
off. They're like, well, there weren't really tears streaming, but he looked upset. And I'm like,
Howdy.
whatever. Like
I'd be like, well, stop hiring pussies for your construction
I
job.
think I might have
Let's
used that
just-
word when I talked to John. I might have said, sounds like he was a pussy. So,
Yeah.
I guess that I think I've laid it out pretty evenly and honestly. Those are the things they did. My response had gestures and lots of, you can't pull this fucking wire.
Men knock their thumbnails off and fucking shoot themselves with nail guns. You wrap that shit up and drive yourself to the hospital. There is no crime, and those people, they come back. I haven't worked a ton of construction jobs, but I've done a lot of minor ones and like roofing and stuff, and like hired 15 laborers once and 3 laborers once, and then my dad's got a friend who's a contractor, and I've been to his job sites and I've seen what goes on, and my dad's been like, look at that guy. Look at that guy work, because they'll be up there like these white men who are completely shirtless, but they're bronze from the sun, and they're swinging that fucking hammer as hard as they can. There's no like tap, tap, tap to get the nail started. They start with wow. Like
They've got the talent.
Yeah, and they don't. They're men.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a over there putting in some concrete and he's probably trying to tap into the internet or something. That's what he was doing.
Just
And
siphon internet.
so
That's what I because that's what they always do. They're always like, "Oh, you brought him to tears. It's PTSD." I'd have been like, "Well, you know what? I think maybe he did it on purpose. I think maybe he was trying to get some pornography out of the wall or something."
So-
just take it to your own weird level.
and also, it's hard to judge the work they were doing aside from all the damage they were creating because they weren't done, right? But I'm looking at they were supposed to like pack in the dirt next to the pool, and it's poorly packed in. There's air spaces and whatnot. I don't know if it was gonna get better, but the work they've done thus far is shit. So that's a thing. Anyway, they left the job site, and Josh was like, I think we could have gotten them to come back had we just, if Josh had like smoothed it over and said, "Hey guys, come on back. We need this to get done." But he's like, he decided that wasn't the right course of action. Instead, they're going to like try to switch people on jobs and get it.
Yeah.
Because they work with a couple
just
subcontractors.
use a different concrete company.
Yeah. So we're going to get a different subcontractor to work on
that sounds
it.
awful.
And I'm sure it'll delay the pool in the end, but fuck it. Like, I don't think I wanted them doing it, and I certainly didn't like the way they were headed. Am I the
they're-
asshole?
they're
I don't-
gonna- No,
No,
you
you're not
are
the
not
asshole.
the
They are.
asshole
Really?
at
I don't
all
know.
in this situation.
I don't know.
Like, I'm not imagining when you said the guy was crying. I didn't believe that for a second. Like, there's nothing to gain as a man by crying,
No.
and so it's hard for me to imagine men doing it. Like, I can't imagine a situation where I'd be like, if I cry here, it'll get me out of it. Like, no, it'd just be like, if I cry here, I'll look like a bitch and get mocked in addition to losing whatever encounter I'm currently losing. Like, no, I just,
Sorry.
yeah,
I-
there's no reason for it. And if it said it in the contract, it's like, they should have to go back and fix that. I can't imagine that it's like a ton of work for a laborer crew to quickly fix your driveway, but
I don't know
they
how
should
to
have
fix
to do that.
asphalt, but yeah, I agree. They need to handle that, or hire someone to handle it.
Did they
just cover the
scrape
bill.
asphalt? Is that what they did?
Yeah,
The way that I would fix it to my standards, you're gonna have to go back out there and spray that bitch with tar. You have to retar that thing.
I get like I actually Googled it, and but I didn't go long because I was on my phone, and that's one way to repair it. There's another way of troweling it. I don't know the best way to repair it, but they should do something because otherwise it's just going to get wet and freeze and open, and that'll be where the first pothole forms.
Yeah.
So yeah, they need to handle that. And I think the way that it went so bad is they had a trailer with the flat tire, gave no fucks about the fact that the trailer had a flat, and just drug shit along the ground.
What a great crew.
Yeah.
That wasn't the A team.
No,
That's not
that last
it.
part's not confirmed, but I heard,
Maybe it was, and somewhere else, like one of those Ugandan Toyota war trucks just barreled up someone's
That's what I
driveway,
drive.
and 3 drunken Mexicans fell out the side of it, and we're like, "Is this the right house?" No, like
Yeah.
somewhere else that happened.
There
Like,
was
maybe you
one
did.
thing. Josh was like, they're just not used to being spoken to that way. And I'm like, really? No, I don't mean to be like a total ass that like doesn't treat laborers like full-fledged people or something. But I just find it hard to believe that in the construction industry, people bite their tongues as much as he says.
I am accustomed to a much more gruff, no political correctness kind of like this is a manly work area kind of thing. This is very much like a locker room or a sports team on the field at the same time. When you fuck up, there's scolding. I've seen laborers get scolded many
There's accountability.
times. There's accountability. But I've seen a lot of laborers get scolded. I've seen my dad do it. He screams at them in their face. He lets them know. He holds the thing. Look at this thing. This thing isn't supposed to be like this. You did this. You've been warned. This is the 3rd time. You're costing me fucking money. Last chance, Julio or Bob or whatever.
I remember as a little kid, like sometimes being upstairs because my parents were always having like renovations, and like you're upstairs in your room doing what homework, and I'd hear like screaming from the kitchen or wherever downstairs, and I'd be like, "Oh no, mom and dad are fighting," and then I'd hear like the other side of the voice being like, "Well, how do you expect me to get the supplies I need when you're not fronting me the money needed for this quality of tile?" And I'm like, "Oh, thank God, it's just the contractor. It's just the contractor being a cunt. It'll blow over." Like, but that was like something. You're right. Like I heard my dad and that guy yelled, and my mom and that guy yelled at each other repeatedly, because that's kind of what you need to do. It seems like you just get taken advantage of if you don't, because they just will play the, I'm just trying to keep, they do the Jerry Seinfeld routine where it's like, I'm just trying to keep as many options open for you as possible. It's like, no, you're not. You're trying to avoid making any kind of decisions. I hired you as an expert, and now you're not being an expert. You're being a professional question asker. Like if I hire an accountant to do my taxes and they go, you think you should file this part? I'm going to go, are you fucking kidding me? No, you better tell me how to file this part.
I think we get a deference here. What do you think? I'm not really.
That's why you're here. Yeah, I don't go behind the counter at Subway and become my own sandwich artist. I go there for a reason,
And if I was, there'd be more turkey on that bitch.
You're absolutely right about the professional question asker thing. I despise that in any kind of a professional. You get it most often and most readily at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, though. Like you go in there and you're like looking at nail guns, and the guy walks by and he's like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" I want to be like, "I don't know, can you? Like, do you know more than the name brands? Do you I want to rattle off like, well, I need this, and that. Do you know the exact one, or are you going to have to start looking at labels now? Because that's what I'm doing, and I can read just fine.
You know where I get it a lot? In design. Like I'll say like, all right,
yeah.
I'm Woody's Gamertag. I make Call of Duty videos. I need like a logo that represents me, and I need an intro, and. Usually it was kids. Like if it was a kid, they'd be like, all right, okay. So what color do you want it to be? And what do you want it to look like? And what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. And the more input I give you, the worse it'll get. If I was any good at this at all, I'd do it. you know.
Yeah, what you're asking me to do.
The creativity part. It's making something from nothing. It's like, that is your part, asshole. Yeah. That's you.
You can make a camel is what you end up doing. It's like if you have a big group of people in a boardroom or something, and you're making a decision about what direction you're going to go and marketing or whatever the fuck, and instead of like having a cohesive idea, you let everybody be like, I vote this. Oh, I like it. One aspect of that. I also want to add my 2 cents. And by the end, you're like, oh, this is awful because we pretended that everybody's opinion mattered.
That's the cliche, right? A camel is a horse designed by committee. And they all put in their own little 2 cents, and you get something that doesn't fit together.
Yeah, and you get a shitty horse.
I had the opposite experience. I was having the Woodycraft website made, and the store in particular had a challenge in that, like when we sold a rank, Woodycraft had, I don't know, like 9 or 11 different game types. And every time you bought a rank, you got all the things of the rank before it. And, it had all the things ranked before it, and there were like 9 total. So each rank, you got like, I don't know, 150 things. So you get 9 things, and there's like 1,000 things you get. And I'm like, how do we present all this information to people? Like, people don't even know what they're buying. They figure it out slowly while they play here. And this guy came up with this brilliant like tab system with scroll boxes. And anyway, he did great. I would hire him.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Well, but you wouldn't hire those concrete men again.
No, fuck those guys. No. And fuck them for making me feel bad. Poor Julio's in tears. Bullshit.
Children.
My wife saw him. He wasn't in tears. He was kind of being rude.
I feel even less. Is it racist that I feel even less bad because at first I pictured like a white kid with blonde hair, but now that I know that it was a Mexican guy, I'm like, he should definitely be hardened to a little screaming and cursing, like, right? Like,
do you think he went home that night, or he's going home tonight, and his wife's like, "Oh, Pablo, how are you today? Good day at work?" He's like, I'm never been more thankful to not fully understand the language here. I could only see the tears welling in the eyes of Jacob, my good work friend, as this savage in a massive house, I guess, level dealer. It's why I say, of course, I say nothing because this is a powerful man. He flies. You think we have run of the place? Just not use the side door. No, he flies in. He knows.
I did fly in.
That's what Pablo and State Farm are saying tonight.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're not working on the pool. I'm not glad the pool's going to get delayed by some amount of time. But
either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.